Well, there is a large law enforcement presence out here, but right now all we see are police and the media. And right now we're joined by First Lieutenant Mike Shaw of the Michigan State Police to talk about preparations for today. So obviously we've seen the state police here throughout the week. What kind of presence do you have here today, and what kind of measures are in place?
So, it's not our first rodeo, so to speak, out here. So the Capitol is the scene of all kinds of demonstrations all the time. Some of them are 4 or 5 people. Other times it could be like right to work where they are covering the whole lawn. So we got a little bit of intelligence and some chatter from the FBI about some other Capitol events. We also got some things that were going on with other people, and everybody saw what happened at the U.S. Capitol last week. So we're prepared for all types of scenarios like that. We're prepared for a couple of people showing up, and we're also prepared for a couple of thousand people showing up. Obviously, if you've been here this weekend like I have, you've seen an increased presence of law enforcement out here, troopers walking around. You can expect to see that probably throughout until February. There's also a lot of measures out here that you won't be able to see just to make sure that everybody's safe. And I think it's important that people understand your First Amendment rights to come out here and air grievances about the government, about whatever you want to discuss, what you're upset about, is totally cool with us. We have no issues with that whatsoever. But when we kind of cross that line is when things happen that there's problems. So if you want to destroy property, assault other people that are out here, disobey law enforcement or assault law enforcement, that takes you from a peaceful protester to a criminal. And then we will deal with that as we would any other type of crime.
And so I know you mentioned you're prepared for anything. Do you have an estimate of how many people may show up or when right now?
We've kind of been talking with you guys over the weekend that, we send out RSVPs for these types of events all the time. And the only people that's responded so far has been us and you. So again, we just don't know. So you always have to prepare for the very, very worst that might happen and hope for the very, very best. And that's our plan for today is, we're totally happy with it. If the only people that show up out here is us and you guys, then it's a successful event. If you get 1,000 people that show up here, voice their First Amendment rights, get back home and everybody goes safe, another successful event. Where we get worried is when you see things like we saw last week at the U.S. Capitol. That won't be tolerated.
And as far as the coordination between law enforcement agencies, it's not just state police here. Talk about the communication between other agencies.
So we're very fortunate here in Michigan. When you go to different states, you probably don't see a lot of that activity that goes on. For here, law enforcement is very cooperative with each other, be it from the federal level with the FBI sharing information between us, the Ingham County Sheriff, the National Guard, East Lansing Police Department. We're all always talking to each other. So this isn't the first time we've worked together. We work together all the time. So that coordination for us is very important because you need to have that seamless communication back and forth. I think one of the things that we learned from 9/11 was there was a lot of communication that wasn't going on. Everybody was kind of keeping it to itself. Law enforcement has changed quite a bit from that time to where we share pretty much everything.
Gotcha. Well, First Lieutenant Mike Shaw, thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe today, and we hope for the best.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right, back to you.